was 99. There was snow on the ground. When the call came in, I knew something was wrong. I made my way to the station. Then I waited and waited and waited for the train, for the train, for the train, for the train. train in the distance, it's coming fast. I'm looking for the car that's first class. I'ma keep my head up, 'cause I know it won't be long. It might be in a year, or it might be in a song. All the things I want, all the things I need. When the train comes, that's when I'll leave. Trains, trains, trains. Trains. In the quiet before the noise begins, you found your way here through the day you've been in. Whatever way you carry through the door, you don't have to carry it anymore. Look around at everyone beside you. Every single one of them has been there too. You're not a stranger here, you never were. This is your place, this is where you belong. I see you, I see you, I feel you, we feel you. You are loved, you are loved. I need you, we need you. Believe it, believe it. You are loved, you You don't have to be okay to show up here. You don't have to have it figured out. Bring the chaos, bring the quiet, bring the fear. That's what this place is all about. Every light in here was once where you were, finding something real in the dark. You're not too much, you're not too small. You're exactly right, exactly as you are. I see you, I see you, I feel you, we feel you. You are loved, you are loved. I need you, we need you. Believe it, believe it. Watch it grow. Trains rolling. Let's go. Insanity works just fine. Something's coming. Feel that sound. Tracks don't hold up. We don't slow down. Energy sparks. Systems blow. Next drop hits. Brace for the show. All aboard. Let it ride. No brakes. Full send, full drive. Stack the car. Watch it grow. Trains rolling. Let's go. All aboard. Hit the gas. No control. We don't last. Break the track. Let it go. Trains rolling. Let's go.
Let's get nuts.
90% of the time, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh, what the shit is that about? Alright, well, I'd like to thank NVIDIA for updating the for updating my fucking camera driver and not informing me. I appreciate that, you son of a bitch. Well, for the moment, please enjoy my my pretty triangle or something. I don't know what's going on here. Well then, and for those of you speaking French in the chat, yes indeed. All right, okay, that one is working. Now let's try this again here. Yeah. Thank you to NVIDIA. We appreciate all that you do, except when you completely fuck everything up, which is apparently a little more often than I would prefer. Webcam overlay. Not the overlay, not the damn webcam. This one here. Bam, let's try that. Alright, now how about we try to... Hey, there we go. There we go. Look at me. Look at me troubleshooting on the fly. Hooray! Hello. Well, hidey-ho, neighbors. Welcome. Merry Friday and such. Not me today. There you are. You should not say yes to things when you don't know what Jay's talking about. Sure. You know what? I honestly didn't even read what he wrote. I just saw that... I saw that there was French. That's all I saw. So I wasn't necessarily agreeing or disagreeing, just yeah, okay, sure. Anyway, I do see we have a couple of new folk around here, so hidey ho, welcome to our Friday Live. Basically, we're doing a coaching sesh today, and today we are discussing, we're going over a brand new meta-analysis about ADHD and anxiety in adults. I'm sure that is something that none of you can relate to whatsoever, and so I'm sure that this will all be, you know, boring and inconsequential, or it can apply to pretty much every one of you, and yeah, this could be enlightening. It could be downright riveting, I tell you, or something like that, if that makes any sense. No, not at all. Nope, not at all. Of course not, right? Popping in from my vacation to say a quick hello. Hidey ho. Hi, Story Mage. How are you doing? As always, when we do get to the to the goods, on Twitch, the primary link is pinned up at the top of the chat. On Facebook and YouTube, you guys will find it in the description if you guys want to check out the research for yourselves. Not that I don't think any of you don't, trust me or anything, but on the other hand, don't trust me. Take everything I say with a bag of salt, and always, make sure that you're doing your own research from reputable sources, not your crazy uncle on Facebook, anything like that. I'm not going to get anything out of this stream. No, of course you're not. No, brand new meta-analysis that came out, I think it was earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken. Trust you as long as we aren't in the shower. Well, I mean, there's that. There's that. But you do have folks who do like to research things. It is true. It's salty. I get them from some guy who talks about it on stream. I mean, that's fair. Just, be careful about that kind of stuff. Because some of them are a little crazy. A little bit insane. And my own rabbit hole. What you do with your rabbit hole is none of my business, okay? We're not going to talk about that on stream today. I mean, it's bad enough that we have Jay talking about chowing down on felines. Goodness gracious me. What is wrong with you people? Don't answer that. Please, for the love of God, don't answer that. Because we ain't got that kind of time around here. Oh, he doesn't worry about it. He kind of counts on it. But again, we haven't got that kind of time around here. If you know what I'm saying. What's wrong with me? Followed by Substack for all of it. Hey. Speaking of which, I have gone back to writing some articles. This article is today's article, actually. Holy crap, is it fucking hot in here. How's the smoke way out there? Has it gotten any better at all? I'm sure you can tell that I got the fan on. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope you can't. Still. Let's see if it's not. Alright, is it all left? No, it's more in the middle. Yeah, those are called farts today. Pennsylvania. Hating the heat, overwhelmed. My century with the brightest summer. Yeah, crazy humidity. Yeah. Air's still a little chewy, but not horrible. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of that out here. However, it is currently it is 28, but feels like 36. So let me translate that to freedom units. That's 82 feels like 97, and we also have a severe thunderstorm and tornado warning out in my area, so that's going to be a hoot, as well as a risk of hail today. So yeah, tornado warning out this way. All right. Hoorah. No, I mean, I'll do the best I can. Tornado comes out this way. I'm not outrunning it. Sounds like a thunderstorm brewing. Yep. Tornado Alley resident. Yeah, I'm the Alberta Tornado Alley resident. Not directly, thankfully. But, kind of directly. So, yeah. Suffice it to say, it is motherfucking hot. Oh, also, I had something show up in the mail yesterday. Hey, it's the brand new one. It's not very big. I told you it's not very big. Told you it's just a little one. It's a short story. But hey, the brand new one showed up today. Hey! So I'm very happy about that. I got 2 copies. And how many chair naps you had? What does that have to do with tornadoes? Oh, because of the heat, yeah. Yeah, the heat, yeah, it was definitely a component. It absolutely was. Certain weather that comes on screen. Expect weather. What kind of weather? Yes. Well, they do say if you don't like the weather up here, wait 5 minutes. Unless it's on a day like today where it's hot as fuck, and then you could wait a couple of hours, and then I definitely don't. You don't do that at work? No? No. Me either. Well, I mean, not so much now. Now that we figured out what all of the problems are. What part of the problems are. Alberta is the Midwest of Canada. Geographically, yes. Attitude-wise, no. Go further south. And maybe east. It's like Alberta is, think of it like this. Alberta is like the product of a Texas and Florida jailhouse cornholing. That's about as descriptive as I can get. Told me I can't flog flounder at work, so I might as well nap. I didn't even know that you guys had fish deliveries come through there. Who knew? That's how I describe. That's how you describe Missouri? Really? And Missouri is the product of a Texas and Florida jailhouse cornholing, is it? Well then. That is a very long tongue. Tired of this tramp. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, too damn bad. Keep sweating. Well, that's too damn bad. Texas Junior with Florida drug problems. All right, yeah, that's Alberta. Yeah. More or less, that is Alberta. Alrighty. So how's all of y'all? How has your week been besides, those of you sweating your arses off? Anybody? Anybody else sweating they asses off? Because I know I is. And it's not exactly a riot, if you know what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll survive. Cue the disco music. No, because it is cold here. Lifted trucks and nasal skiing. Yes, that sums it up. Smoky, yes. Young crazy as I travel around seeing family. Fair enough. Fairly sick yesterday and stream fast, but feeling better. Oh, that's good. Got swamp ass and swamp titty simultaneously. You got squiddy swass. That kind of sounds like a little rap line or something. I got the squiddy swass. It is a warm 16 right now. Okay, hang on. You said it's cold, but it's a warm 16 right now? You don't even fucking know what cold is. That's enough out of you. Zip. Shush. Dan is my inspiration to stay the fuck away from touching grass. I mean, that's fair. And yes, mod love. All of the love to all of the mods. Much appreciate you. Even if you are, sick or stuck at work or whatever the case may be. And giggity and such. And things and stuff. And even if you're chaos on vacation. I'm just saying, theoretically, if you're chaos on vacation. If you're chaos stuck at work, well, we love you even more because I'm so sorry you gotta be stuck at work. From Australia, as soon as it gets to 24, we complain about the cold. I know you're not on vacation. I was saying hypothetically, if you were on vacation, we would still love you, even though you're off having a much better time than the rest of us. Later. All right, try to stay hydrated. Yes, today's hydration is one gigantic ass iced coffee. So I got that going for me. Hooray. I can't wait. 24, I'm in shorts, slides, and a t-shirt. Yeah, 24 was like 5 degrees ago. and I'm like dying. 24 for me is ideal. Why? Because MS sucks. That's why. It feels like 36. Oh my god, does it ever. Like, I got the fan here, the AC in the front room. The air was totally stagnant, so we have to have the back door open for a little tiny bit of movement, even though there's like no air movement outside. Add that to the tornado feeling. 35.5, feels like 40, 51% humidity. I did not actually look at the humidity. What have we got for humidities? 62%. 62% humidity. Hooray. Which is kind of a little high for my area. Complain about the heat. Nadia, shut up. You complain about everything all of the time. Nadia complains about everything all of the time. Every little fucking thing all of the time. Anyway. I know, right? Like I said, that's not humidity that we're overly accustomed to. So yeah, that's kind of gross. Yeah, normally we like to stay under 50. Unless it pisses rain out, and then, you know, it's obviously higher, but whatever. But yes, it is hot. It is hot and humid. Alrighty. Shall we kind of get to things? Shall we? Humid 93%. It just rained though. Okay, well yeah, there's that. If it was 100% humidity, don't drown. Hard to maintain, very high humidity. So 51%, yes. Yeah. Just hot. Just wall of hot. That's all I know. Just very hot all of the damn time right now. Ontario called. They said, hold my beer, watch this. Hot soup, yes. Yes. Like walking outside into tomato soup. Not necessarily the bestest of times. So, what have we got on the docket today? We are going to be breaking down a new meta-analysis that pooled 58 studies and over 18,000 adults to answer a question nobody actually pinned down before. Not just, you know, how often ADHD and anxiety show up together, but how much worse the anxiety severity actually gets, and why that answer depends heavily on who you're being compared to. Or a spicy meatball. There you go. Because the boss came in there. I missed all. Short version is I'm picking on you. I know you're not on vacation. I said if you hypothetically were, we would still love you, even though you're off having more fun than us. Something like that. That's the short version. And a spicy meatball. Actually, Chaos kind of is a spicy meatball, even though Dan is the one who has taken on the shape of a spicy meatball. What can I tell you? Alright, anyway. Hope you got your water, hope you got your fidgets, hope you got your... hope you got comfortable. Saying the short version to Chaos is wild. Yes, it is. Kind of like saying the wild version of Chaos is short. But yeah, that's enough of that. If you're a first timer here, throw us a little wave in chat or something so I can single you out and pick on Chaos. I mean, single you out and pick on you. I didn't mean that. Customers, come on in. Save me from the call-outs. Nope. Not today, bitch. The chaos eyes. Where are we here? Okay, let me see here. House rules, off topic is the topic. We all know that we're going to stray here, there, and everywhere. Anyway, just a very, very, very quick content note for the day. There is a very, very brief touch on a statistic that has to do with self-harm and shuffling off the coil risk. It's a very brief one. Okay, I just want to let you know in advance. I just don't want to catch you off guard. Okay. But anyway, yeah, brand new meta-analysis on ADHD and anxiety in adults. Not do these two things happen together. We've fucking known that forever. ADHD is anxiety. My tongue is a funny color because of the coffee. Sorry, that just threw me off. But yeah, not do these things happen together. We know they happen together. Same as ADHD and depression. Those things happen together. One causes the other. Like, we've known that forever. But this one measured how much worse the anxiety actually gets and actually put some numbers to it. So, yeah, we're going to throw some numbers around. I'll do as best I can to Englishify it as I can. So, let me know if you have got both ADHD and anxiety going on at once. Give me a 1. Give me that 1 in chat if you got ADHD and anxiety that happens together. Like a beautiful little partnership of broken fingers and a giant mass of sticks. Mama says no. All right, perfect. All right, so we've established that Mama's the liar for the day. Or not. Yeah, one of the top ones. Oh, what's the matter, Nadia? You don't like the call-outs this soon? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm one-ish. One-ish. Interesting, I like that. And all the fucking anxiety. Well, I mean, between ADHD and autism, yeah, I think I think the entire, I picture it like this in my mind, okay? If you got two gigantic circles, this one's ADHD, this one's autism, and then you have some smaller ones that kind of go in the middle, it's like, this is generalized anxiety and social anxiety and all the rest of the fucking anxieties. I think in that, Venn diagram spot right there, I think that's where all of the anxieties fit. All the ones. There you go. Nuh-uh. All right. Again, we have been reminded that Polar Bear Mama is full of shit. Not that we really needed to be reminded about that, but yeah, no, I know. All right, so direct call-outs on Sume. Gotcha. Congratulations, little puppy. You have earned yourself a spot in the crosshairs. I will remember this. What in my bowels is none of your concern, sir? We're not on Wheel of Fortune. Calm down over there, lady. Diagram of my anxiety. Yes. Yes. If the two O's on the end were fucking massive. All right. Why does this study even need to exist? That's a very good question. Because we don't need to go running around all over the planet with all of this anxiety hanging out that we're not able to tuck in. That's one reason right there. But seriously though, here's the thing that's been bugging researchers for a while. Everybody agrees that ADHD and anxiety, shall we say, hang out together a lot, constantly. Yeah, to hurt us. That's a good example too. But as I said, this is not news to, especially for those of us who have to put up with it. The problem is the estimates for how often we're all over the place, essentially. Okay, some studies said 4% of ADHD adults have anxiety. They were wrong. Other studies said 84%. I mean, which for a lot of us feels closer to the truth. Yeah, there were some studies out there that actually said 4%, Jay. Some studies said 4%, others said 84%. That's not a small disagreement. 99.999, that's RSD. That's RSD. But you're close. Yeah. That's a difference between like a rare overlap and basically the default, right? It's essentially why. So why the huge gap? Different studies measured different things, obviously. Some looked at formal anxiety diagnoses, some looked at anxiety symptoms on a questionnaire, some pulled from general population samples, and some pulled from psychiatric hospitals. Okay? All of those give you drastically different numbers. Obviously they would, right? Like between 4 and 84. Yeah, that's a disparity? Yes, just a tiny one. But yeah, those are gigantic, like a massive gap in numbers, right? None of them were answering the actual question that matters day to day. Okay, so here would be the real gap in the research that nobody had really filled in, which is knowing two things co-occur a lot. It doesn't tell you if the anxiety itself is worse in ADHD adults or just equally common. Hi, Weasel. Right, so it doesn't tell you if it's worse or if it's just as common. All right, frequency, severity, all of these things we always take into account. And they're two completely different measurements in this case. Okay, and almost all prior research only ever tracked the frequency, not the severity. Yeah. Knowing, let's do a little comparison, Alan. Psychiatric hospitals almost never diagnose anxiety. In my experience, they treat it, but they don't diagnose it. I would not know. They sedate you repeatedly. Yeah. It's their way of handling problems, right? There is no problem. We're just gonna put you to sleep. Anyway. So let's do a little analogy. Okay? Knowing that rain and traffic jams happen together a lot doesn't tell you whether the traffic is actually worse on rainy days or that the rain and traffic both happen a lot in general. You need a different kind of study to answer that second question. That's kind of the way that we're looking at this, I guess. So this new study is the first one to actually go and measure severity directly, not just, do you have a diagnosis, yes or no? So hooray for that. Before we actually get into the numbers, why don't you guys take a guess? Do you think that anxiety is mildly worse in ADHD adults, moderately worse, or dramatically worse compared to people without ADHD? Let's try this. Give me a 1 if you think it is mildly worse, 2 if you think it's moderately worse, 3 if you think it's dramatically worse compared to people that do not have ADHD. And we'll see who's closest. Or rather, see how many of you. 4. I like that one. That's a good one. Gonna hedge 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Okay. Try and remember your numbers. And the winner will get a new car. I don't know where you'll get it, but I'm sure eventually you will get one. Ain't nobody saying mildly. That's because we all know better. Well, I didn't say I was going to give the winner a new car. I'm just using my powers of premonition. The winner will get a new car at some point in their lifetime. Maybe. No, it's hashtag DN. Dramatically worse. We stress results of all things we struggle with and can't do, or trying desperately not to do. Yep, that sounds pretty legit. So let us meet the study and how they actually did this, shall we? I'll take a Hot Wheels car. There you go. You got yourself a brand new car. I'm sure they have some at Dollarama. Okay, so the research team pulled together 58 separate studies from 19 different countries. So combined, that's over 18,000 adults. 5,595 of them had ADHD. 13,226 did not. Right? So we're looking at about 35%-ish, if I did my numbers right there. So that's a pretty massive sample, right, if you think about it, for this kind of question. It's not a small study with 40 college students. This is decades of research from around the world stacked together. So, quick vocab check, because we're going to use this word a couple of times, is effect size, specifically something called Hedges G. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Imagine you lined up every single adult with ADHD in a row and every adult without ADHD in a separate row, and you compared their average anxiety scores. Hedges G, Hedges, good. There we go with Hedges G. It's just a number that tells you how far apart those two rows sit. I cannot afford a new car. Not the car insurance. None of it. You can afford a Hot Wheels though. So the scale is simple. 0.2 is a small gap, barely noticeable. 0.5 is a medium gap. You notice it if you were paying attention. 0.8 is a higher gap, harder to miss. Okay. Why the researchers use this instead of just averages? It lets you combine total. It lets you combine totally different studies that use totally different anxiety questionnaires into one comparable number. So it's the great equalizer of, wait, these studies all measure anxiety differently. How do we even compare them? Cat would knock it on the floor. I'd step on it. Foot would slide from under me. I'd hurt myself. But you'd still have the car. I mean, Hot Wheels they're pretty solid cars. Last I checked, they were. Anyway, but they also check something called moderators. So Jay, keep an eye out. You're in check. Basically asking, does this gap get bigger or smaller depending on the other factors? Those are what they refer to as the moderators here, not just the ones with the green swords. They check age, gender, how the ADHD was diagnosed, what kind of anxiety measurement was used, and who the ADHD group was being compared against. I can't handle the responsibility. I had a little cartoon image of like, I can't take this anymore, running towards a window, jumping off to like the 93rd floor. I regret nothing. Have fun with the callouts. What do you mean you gotta run? Are you bitching out a... Oh, let me guess. Is it Cajun time? Is that what it is? The ones with the green swords are mean to me. Mostly Dan. Yeah, I know. Whatever, Dan. What's today's doom of choice? Oh, so Mama's taking off with you then. All right. Gotcha. Whatever. Hashtag damn it, Dan. Yes, may your internet provide all of the ups and downs and bits and bytes it needs to. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I've also met some of you. I know that some of you may or may not end up doing your own math on your own diagnostic timeline while I babble on. Okay, that's fine. That's normal. I wouldn't expect otherwise. Take your time, no rush. Okay. So before we bugger off to our first self-care break of the day, quick poll. If you were clinically diagnosed by a professional, give me a 1. If you're self-diagnosed, self-identified, however you want to refer to it, give me a 2. Both count, both matter. You know that. Self-diagnosis is 100% valid in my house. With the caveat, you know what the caveat is. But give me a 1 if you're a professional, 2 for ADHD. Okay, so we got a few of each. Chicken a boot. All right. Fair enough. To be honest, 1 for both. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, there we go. Now we throw it. I was not paying attention. No, professionally is 1, self is 2. Professional is 1, self is 2. Just a reminder and a read of the room and a and just a, you know, comparing notes with the other kids. There we go. All right, so we will pause here for a moment, have ourselves our very first self-care break. Oh, by the way,
trans rights are human rights, and if you don't agree, you can fuck off.
Anyway, we shall do that. Grab yourselves some water and a snack and the bathroom and whatever else you need to do. We're gonna get into some numbers right after this, and yeah. So get some num-nums in your face.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
That was ridiculous. I'll take it.
beat goes on. Goes on. Beat goes on. Beat goes on. Down, 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 down. Beat goes on. Beat goes on. Everybody move, everybody move, everybody move.
It did so just crack me. I just put my giant ass mug down and then smacked my camera. Go figure. Just did we correct that ever so much? Just like that. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, okay. Perfect-ish. I'll take perfect-ish for 500, Alex. Just double check here. Yeah, it looks close to me. All right. Alrighty. Hope you got yourself some snacks, some hugs, some love, some pets of the dog, some, I don't know what else we got there. Whatever works. Hi, D. What's up? What's shaking? What's happening? What's heading? What's with the things and the stuff at the place where the people are? That kind of made sense. Made sense in my mind, anyway. It's okay, we'll wait. We'll wait. It's all good. I got lemonade I made. Perfect. I went out there to, because when I made my iced coffee, I'd added the little vanilla creamer, but I didn't add any of the flavor syrup to it, because I forgot. So yeah, this whole time I was sitting here sipping on, poorly flavored iced coffee. So I went out to add some of that, and I saw that we got a powdered iced tea. The container is half over. I'm like, why is that knocked over? She's like, oh, because I used the last of it. I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, I made a jug of iced tea. I put it in the fridge. Because it's fucking hot out here today. I'm like, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that you did that. Now clean it up. Oh, lordy. What do we got here? Oh, the temperature has gone up a little bit. What do we got here? So we still have a tornado warning. And apparently trying to click things is not going to happen when your hand doesn't stop twitching. It is now 29 degrees and feels like 38. So to translate, that's 84, but feels like 100. And yeah, tornado risk, or tornado warning, and hail, no, tornado and hail risk today is what it's at. Oh, fun? I don't know so much about that. What am I this time? A globule? A lemon. You are a lemon. So now you know. We got 34. I'm staying inside. Yeah, me too. We even have 2 air conditioners in the house going full time, and I still have 1 fan behind me and 1 fan in front of me, because otherwise I'm a melt. Anyway, yeah. 29 feels like 38, my god. Not very happy about that, but I'll survive. Anyway. Shall we continue? Yes. Yes, we shall. Oh. But first, I must do my due diligence. Click. There we go. I must lurk on Danny. Anyway. Alright, continuing on. I said we were going to get into the numbers. Okay, so here is our headline number. Across all 58 studies, the overall gap between ADHD adults and non-ADHD adults was... Do you remember which number you chose? Did you think it was going to be mild, moderate, or severe? You remember your number? I hope you did, because here is the actual G number. It was 0.77. So if you remember, 0.2 was small, 0.5 was medium, 0.8 was large. So yeah, this is pretty fucking big. Not a subtle difference. It's a meaningful, you would notice this in a room gap, right? If, like I said before, if you had them all like lined up in two separate rows and that gap difference was the amount of space in between, yeah, you'd notice. You would definitely notice. I was close, there you go. But, okay, so here's a bit of a twist though. And this is the part that actually matters for how you get treated in real life. Out of everything they checked, age, gender, how ADHD was diagnosed, the only one thing that actually changed the size of that gap was who the group was being compared against. So when ADHD adults were compared to the general public, people with no diagnosis of anything, the gap was huge. 0.95 was massive, okay? A big, obvious, unmissable difference. When ADHD adults were compared to other clinical populations, people who already had some other psychiatric diagnosis, the gap shrank way down to like 0.44. So in that small to medium range. So think about that for a second, okay? Same anxiety, same person theoretically. Completely different visibility depending on who's standing next to you when somebody is doing the comparing, right? So the real world version of why all this matters is if you get assessed somewhere that is comparing you to the general population, which I'm sure none of us have ever had, your anxiety is probably going to jump out and get flagged, right? But if you get assessed in a specialist mental health clinic where everybody already has something going on, your anxiety might just blend into the background of, well, everybody here has something, right? That was the problem that I had faced when I went to my psychiatrist initially for the autism diagnosis, right? Because it just kind of got sloughed off as, well, it's just social anxiety. Joke's on you, I've already got that, right? This ain't that. So that's not your anxiety changing, that's the ruler that they're measuring it with changing. Comparing apples to oranges is a lot closer than comparing apples to hubcaps or duct tape. Anxiety first, ADHD later, which does not surprise me. Because how many times have we said that, you know, a lot of women, AFABs, females, however you view, generally get either diagnosed with it first or misdiagnosed with it first. Anxiety, depression, BPD, bipolar, before they finally end up on, oh shit, it's ADHD the whole time. The whole time? Yeah. So, quick side note for all of my biology nerds kicking around. I know there are a couple of you. This same research team Also found that age did not matter, gender did not matter, and it didn't matter whether ADHD was diagnosed through a fully clinical interview or just a self-report. The gap held steady across all of that. The only thing that moved the needle was the comparison group. Yup, and still not. Funny how that works. But yeah, the only thing that showed any little flick in the needle there was who you were being compared to. So, if you ever had a clinician wave off your anxiety as not that bad, or pretty typical for someone with ADHD, right? This might be a bit of a call out. Sorry, not sorry. And that reaction kind of, you know, it makes sense if it kind of hits hard. Sorry, I'm just mulling over my notes in my head here. Yeah, as Weasel points out, it is impressive that none of those other factors showed much of a difference at all, right? Aside from who you're being compared against. So, if you ever felt like your anxiety got dismissed as kind of part of the ADHD combo pack, yeah. Sorry. Actually, that is a good question. How many of you have felt that it just got dismissed as part of the package? Give me a 1. I have a feeling. If you feel like your anxiety was ever just dismissed as part of ADHD, I'm the one who dismissed it. Don't know, honestly. I knew that was coming. Oh yeah, and Mama's gone, otherwise it would have got nuh-uh. But I mean, it makes sense. The whole time. I figured out pretty early on how to advocate for myself because nobody else was gonna. I mean, that's fair enough. For us, no, I figured because nobody else was gonna. I mean, not a shock, right? You know, those of us who do have little ones that that we have to advocate for, right? Obviously, you know, I've got Jasa, and I'm gonna go to war for her if I need to. Sorry, just reading a couple of notes here. All right. All right. Okay, cool. I don't advocate for myself. I do research for myself. There's no one else gives a shit. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it obviously feels like that. ADHD and autism were being dismissed as anxiety by me for a long time. So I learned fast, yeah. Anyone who would go to jail. I think Jace is at the top of the list. I mean, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Alright. Well, now that we've got those numbers and shit out of the way, how about we have a quick little reprieve, shall we? A little palate cleanser, if you will. Does that sound like an idea? How about we do that? How about we do something something a little more enjoyable for a couple of minutes, shall we?
And now it's time for Moose News!
Seems legit.
All right, this episode of Moose News is brought to you by, well, our good friends over at Schuster and Mooster, attorneys at law. Remember, if you do need a pair of lawyers that may or may not get shit done for you, unless your name is Jay, apparently.
I'm JP Schuster. And I'm CB Mooster. And we're here to fight for you.
However, if one of those people need their dog dropped off at your house, you may actually have their dog at your house. It's true. I've got Moose's dog sitting in my kitchen right now. Yeah, Dexter is laying on the floor sweating his poor little ass off. So, how about we do a little bit of Moose News? And actually, we're going to mostly talk about moose today. Because those were things that came up. All right, first one here. It's called the third annual Triplets. This takes place in northern Spokane. A specific individually tracked cow moose, ear tag number 229, has shown up in the same neighborhood 3 years running. Year one calf. Year two, twins. This year, she pulled up with triplets. Wildlife officials confirm moose usually only have one calf and only have twins if they are eating exceptionally well. This moose is not just eating well, this moose is on a heater. This moose has main character energy and completely unbothered attitude about being an annual local news event. Any guesses what she's probably going to show up with next year? Also, letting dogs steamroll you as well. Fight for yourself. Do you crackpots. Deserve it just as much as your kids. Goddamn right. Goddamn right. A Porsche, that's right. She is going to show up in a Porsche next year. We have deemed it to be so. Octomoose Mom. Sure, why not? Octomoose Mom. That's a hell of a mouthful, isn't it? All right, this one here, the statue incident. Take place in Grand Lake, Colorado. A young bull moose spotted a bronze statue of a moose on someone else's front lawn, and according to the news report, fell in love with it. I guess I should be clear that when I say fell in love with it, that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. The statue obviously did not consent. The statue was bronze. The statue has been through a lot this week. This is either the saddest thing I've ever heard or the most confident bull moose that I've ever heard of. I can't decide which it is. Whatever. Anyway. The poor statue? The happy statue? I don't know. I got nothing. This one here, the Isle Royale population report. National Geographic comes to the front line. Da 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 da. Michigan Tech runs an actual annual survey out on Isle Royale, tracking wolves and moose, and they have been doing so since 1958. This year's numbers: wolves near a historic high, around 37, I guess. Moose near a historic low. Poor moose. Researchers are calling it an ecosystem imbalance. Yeah, I call that the wolves winning a group project. Oh well. The trees. Let me see. Also mentioned in that, the trees the moose used to eat still haven't recovered from years of moose overgrazing, and even fewer moose. With even fewer around now, yeah, everything on the island is still mad about being on the island, by the sounds of it. Is it a bronze statue of a female moose? Probably not. And our last little moose news story. Park City, Utah. A moose gave birth to 2 calves in someone's actual residential neighborhood over Memorial Day weekend. A local resident's exact quoting was something like, you never know when you're going to come around a corner and there's a moose, let alone a mom and a baby. Utah has an estimated 2,500 to 3,000 moose statewide. So this is less a rare miracle and more like a Tuesday. But it's still the whole moose giving birth near someone's mailbox. It deserves acknowledgement. And a reminder for all of you that a mama moose with calves are the most defensive version of moose that exists. I must remind anybody who has never come across a moose, who has never seen one, been in proximity of one. If you ever see mama with calves, turn the fuck around, go the other way, because it's not going to be a good day for you.
And now it's time for Moose News!
Seems legit.
There you go. All right. Hi, Sabine. Can I help you? What? Go away. I know. You're sweating your ass off, so am I. Treat moose more like dangerous elk. Sure. Auntie is in the house. Auntie's been in the house for a while. Unless you showed up and then fucked off. Anyway, there you go. That was Moose News. For those of you that have never seen it, but yeah, don't attempt to make friends with a moose. Don't a friend. It's like phone a friend, but not at all. Even if it's a person named Moose. Well, no, that I'll disagree with that one, but more like dangerous elk. Substantially more dangerous elk. Like, and I've never gone face to face with an elk, and I would over a moose any day. Yes, the specific moose is a pretty great human being. Can I help you? What do you want? Can you throw her dumb ass out, please? Stupid ass dog. Anyway. I watched an elk chase a girl across. Oh yeah. A guy named Moose is gonna be chill. Like our Moose, 9 times out of 10, probably an asshole. Or a complete fucking moron. One or the other. Or both. I mean, could be both. You never know. Alright, so let's get back into the topic of the day and ask, why does this even happen? Like, the theories as to why this happens. So, fun part, why? Nobody has one clean, agreed upon answer. What we got is a handful of competing theories, and honestly, they're probably all partially right. So, theory 1, the friction theory. ADHD makes it harder to consistently meet everyday demands. Duh. Missed deadlines, forgotten plans, blurting something out that you wish you hadn't. Jay. None of these things are personality flaws. You know, it's executive function working differently, as always, right? It could be all three, yeah. Could be all three at once. You never know, right? But living with that friction over and over, day after day, builds its own anxiety. Wait, what did I do?
Get up and dance.
I got nothing. But it's not anxiety about nothing. It's anxiety that's kind of like been earned the hard way, right? With you doing all of these things or being terrified that you are going to do any of these things, right? Theory number 2 is the executive function gap. For reason, my name just freaked me out, just to see if you're paying attention. But yeah, the executive function gap itself. So the same mental toolkit that handles planning and impulse control are the same thing that helps regulate emotions. You know, your anger is an emotion, dipshit. Anyway, yes. Mostly. But when that toolkit is inconsistent, right? Your executive functions, obviously, which it is in ADHD, you know, our executive function capabilities are crippled at best, we'll say. How about that? It gets harder to talk yourself down once your anxiety starts to spike. So you don't just get anxious more, you get less equipped to interrupt it once it starts, which sucks. And then we've got theory number 3, which is the attention to threat loop. So there are some researchers that think ADHD affects how well you can let go of a stressful thought once you've noticed it. So you combine a brain that has trouble disengaging from an alarming thought, a disturbing thought, whatever, with a brain that already struggles to regulate the emotional response to it. Basically, you've got a loop that has no exit ramp, right? You go from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. So that is theory number 3. Theory number 4, and I rather enjoy this one because it solves an actual contradiction. ADHD is famous for impulsivity and sensation seeking, thrill seeking, jumping into things. That doesn't sound like an anxious brain on paper. So how do they all show up in the same person? Advanced threat detection without an off switch. Fun. Not so much. One theory says both come from the same underlying wiring, so which involves how the brain regulates attention and threat response. Same system, 2 different expressions. The wiring makes you impulsive and reward chasing, and it can also make it harder to regulate anxiety once the anxiety kicks in, right? Not a contradiction, it's the same engine running 2 different outputs. It's not a contradiction at all. What are you fucking talking about? I have absolutely been the guy who has, in the past, signed up for something wildly impulsive on a Tuesday, and then laid awake regulating my anxiety spiral later that night, right? Same brain, 2 theories, 1 me. Heat warning where I'm at. Yeah, we have a tornado warning out here. Or tornado risk, rather. Tornado risk. Because it is, what did I say it was? 29, but it feels like 38. So yeah, just a fucking wee bit here. What do we got now? Yeah, 29 feels like 38. But yeah, so that's been me. Apparently it's been Nadia too. I guess. I'm gonna take that fucking thing away from you. So which theory do you think hits closest to home for you? 1, 2, 3, or 4? And I'll just do a quick recap, okay? Theory 1 is the friction theory. 2 is executive functioning gap. 3 was the attention to threat loop. And 4 was the basically the contradictory brain. Anybody have any theories? What theories is going to win the world theories? What? Never mind. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Is it, or is it 1, 2, and 3? I mean, it could be. 3, I always feel like there is a fight happening. Fair enough. That is absolutely fair enough.
You got the motion.
Anybody else?
Keep it
How about you, Nadia? Which one do you feel like it is? Huh? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but we're going to put you on the spot there, Nadia. Which one do you think it is? And tell me why, in detail. I want to know. I missed all the explanations. I was doing math at work. So I'm going to step back. That's all good. It is all good. You don't need to answer. Silly person. Goodness. Gonna ignored over here. You're not ignored over here in YouTube. I am going over the coaching stuff that I have scripted out. I can see what you're typing. I acknowledged you, and I told you what the temperature is here. I don't know why you're feeling ignored when I directly answered your comment. Smell that and shiver. I zone back into questions. That's all right. I missed most because I was driving. Okay, sure. Sure. Maybe I need to take that hammer and smack you right in the ass with it. Nadia the liar. Anyway, okay, so a couple of you have identified the ones that you feel like it's closest to home for you. Fair enough. So, what does this mean for you and your provider? If you does have one. Okay, so let's get a little bit practical here. If the size of your anxiety gap depends on who you're comparing it to, I know you might enjoy that, you little perv. Or rather, if you're driving and texting, I'll throw you in timeout. Uh-oh. Piscadios. Healthcare provider. Okay. Yeah, let's back that up and try again. If the size of your anxiety gap depends on who is comparing you, okay, that has the real consequence for how you get assessed and treated. You're on the wrong side of the road. So, here's a bit of a systems logic moment. Most anxiety screening tools were built and tested without much thought being given to how ADHD changes the picture. I will love who's mod power. We know you will. So yeah, not a lot of thought is given to how much ADHD changes the picture of things. Okay, so it's not a conspiracy. It's just kind of like a gap that nobody really closed yet. So that's kind of what they were trying to do over here with this little meta-analysis. So a screening process that doesn't ask about ADHD at all is working with an incomplete picture from the start. So this is why it's important for your provider to know these things, or to be able to identify these things, or to be able to understand that these are things that need to be taken into account for the bigger picture. If you've been seen in general practice settings compared to against population norms, your anxiety is more likely to get flagged more clearly, as opposed to if you've been seen in a specialist clinic, where everybody carries some kind of a diagnosis. Your very, very real anxiety might read as unremarkable purely by contrast against others. So like same anxiety, stupid YouTube. YouTube can be stupid some days, true. Alright, I can do Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, Jay. It took a second. Where was I? Oh, right. Yeah. If you're used to being seen in a general setting versus in a specialty setting, where your, again, very real anxiety doesn't appear all that remarkable in contrast to, you know, some of the others that are there. Again, it's same anxiety, very different visibility, entirely dependent on the room that you're in. Jay's gonna get drunk with power. I mean, that has never happened before. I don't know what you mean. So here are some actual questions you might want to bring into an appointment, word for word if you want. You two have me way back there. Not here. I am almost live. Almost live. You're gonna beat YouTube? I say beat YouTube with a stick. Anyway, you could ask things like, and I don't know if you want to clip them and use them, or if you feel the need to write them down, but you could ask, what population is my anxiety being compared against here, and does that change how you're interpreting it? Has anyone considered whether some of what looks like anxiety is actually stress built up from unmanaged ADHD symptoms rather than a totally separate anxiety disorder? Yes, with a wet noodle is perfect. You could ask, if my anxiety got called unremarkable in clinical setting before, could that be because everyone else in that setting also has an elevated baseline? These are things that you could ask. They're non-confrontational. They're just precise, and precise questions tend to get you further than vague frustration. Believe me, I know. Even when the frustration is completely valid, and yes, it is completely valid. Reminder of the quick content note that I mentioned at the very beginning, before I mention this next part, okay? This touches on the self-harm stat I flagged at the beginning, okay? The original research that this study that all of this study builds upon, found that the co-occurring conditions like anxiety could play a role in the relationship between ADHD and self-harm suicidality, wow, words, largely because of how hard it is to cope with the combined impact on quality of life. So that's not me saying that if you have ADHD and anxiety, you're automatically at risk. It's just me saying that this comorbidity is worth taking seriously. And it's one more reason that accurate screening actually matters, right? Because we do have an elevated risk as a baseline, but then you throw in the comorbidities of anxiety and depression, and that just skyrockets it. Skyrockets it? Skyrockets. It skyrockets it. Rock on. That one, rock on. That was hang loose. Never mind. Haven't timed anybody in a long time. 13 seconds. Time out of love. That's right. What part of that seems normal? Yep. That is a very good question to ask. What part of any of it seems normal? It's a perfectly valid question. All right, so if you have got a, how do I want to put this? Does anybody feel like they have learned anything new today? And I ask that because we all know that ADHD comes with a fucking a family-sized helping of anxiety on the side. Doc's looking at me and says, you know, most people don't work like that, right? Yeah. I mean, most of us have already known that anxiety is just a part of how this is, right? A part of who we are as individuals. Did you realize how much? Did you learn anything new here? I guess is my question. Or is this just kind of like another day at the office? Because I'm curious. Or do any of you actually have clinicians that you do need to go to bring this kind of information to? I guess is another question for you. Not surprising, studies like validate shit, yeah. I mean, me saying it is one thing, right? But me reading notes taken from actual peer-reviewed data, that can be different. More anxious comparatively than I thought, otherwise not really. And that's fair. My lawyer told me not to answer. Your lawyer is my lawyer, so I will find out one way or the other. I've met your lawyer. He's got a bigger beard than I do. And that does go in both cases. They both got reviewed. You should see Moose's beard now, my god. That thing is approaching epic levels, it truly is. I'm kind of proud of it. It's not mine, but I'm proud of it anyway. Oh, did you guys want to see Dex really quick? Dexter! Come here, buddy. Come here, Dex. Look at the size of this thing. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Come here. Come here, big boy. Come here, big boy. Oh, yes, they can barely see you. They can barely see the top of your floppy head. The top of your floppy head. Hey? You need the top of your floppy head. Hey? Ah. Come here, you. Come here, buddy. Oh, it's a big Dex. Oh, look at the size of this fucking mutt. Look at the size of this mutt. It is a gigantic Dex. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you for knocking my headphones off, you giant shit. Yes, you giant shit. Aren't ya? Alright, your talons need some serious work there, dude. Alright, thanks, buddy. Ah. Little bastard scratched me like right here, too. Or not so little bastard, as the case may be. I'm curious when you have ADHD, anxiety, depression, how often they are attached and how often they are separate entities that exist in the same human or demon, as the case may be. Very, very high. Very high comorbidity. It's too much of romance Moose does. Yes. It's true. It is true. You gashed me like right here. Yeah, well, whatever. But yeah, as for the exact numbers, I don't have them handy. As far as I can remember, it's between 50 and 70% for the depression crossover. One of the radio stations I work for, I got Employee of the Month yesterday. All right. Excellent. I didn't know that, well, I didn't know that you worked at a station that handed that out, because I had a very different picture in my mind, but cool. What do we got here? All right. So what we're going to do is we will take us another quick little self-care break. And then when we come back from that, I will give you a bit of the coaching translation that I got for you, as well as what actually may or may not help. So there's that. What I mean in case of depression, for example, is how many people... Let's try that again. How many people have it caused by ADHD, and how many people have it as... Oh, that's a very... That's an oddly specific question. I like it. You know what? I'm going to take your question here, and I'm going to do a quick little dig while we do our little self-care break. So, in the meantime, grab yourself some water, grab a snack. The worldwide whip. That's cool. Whip. Thing to be said with anxiety. I'll do a quick dig and see what I can find for you. But yeah, self-care break. Grab some water, grab a snack, hit the can, pet your dog. I don't know, laugh at Auntie. I'm gonna do that anyway. In a loving way. It's like saying fuck you with love. With love.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Don't mind me finishing some peanuts. Alright. So, I did get both answers for you, Jay. Obviously, Angie did too. Patient has ADHD, like and he's not. Yeah, they went both ways on it. 25 Frontiers review. Yeah, that gap always kind of makes me shake my head. I will. I'll give you what I found for both. Okay, so since we're talking about anxiety today, I'll give you that one first. And so this is. A lot of these come from Chad and from the National Institute of Health. Total co-occurrence, now bear in mind, measured against the meta-analysis that we're just going over. These are a touch outdated. Okay, so but the prevalence is approximately 50% of adults with ADHD have co-occurring anxiety. In children, about 30%. Comparison significantly higher than the general population, where the anxiety disorders affect roughly 19 to 30% of adults over a lifetime. Anxiety caused by ADHD, so secondary or reactive anxiety. It says there's no evidence that ADHD biologically causes anxiety. Which, I mean, that's some heavy lifting wording. But as for the depression, okay. Okay, so the prevalence in ADHD, how many have both? Research estimates, according to the National Institute of Health, between 18.6 and 53.5% of adults. Lifetime risk, approximately 44% of individuals will experience a depressive episode before age 30, compared to 25 without ADHD. Prevalence in depression, conversely, among adults with primary depression, approximately 9 to 16%, up to 34% in some studies. Depression caused by ADHD refers to depression triggered by frustrations, failures, blah, blah, blah. Casual evidence. Okay, so the hazard risk is 1.21. So if you guys remember what we talked about, there's fucking timing. What did you miss, Jay? All of it? If you guys remember, we talked about hazard ratio a couple streams ago, right? Where 1.0 is nothing, 2 is double, 0.5 is half, okay? Ratio odds are 1.21, so 21% higher, essentially. Environmental factors in children's studies indicate that the shared environmental factors, which would include the stressful environment of living with ADHD, account for about 35% of the correlation. And people who do their own diagnosis, when studies suggest that 64% of the correlation between ADHD and mood problems is due to shared genetic factors. Distinct conditions, about 70% of adults with ADHD will be treated for either primary or secondary depression at some point. Well, I mean, I didn't talk about the depression part until now, so. But as for the anxiety, like I said, because the stats are being pulled from compared to the meta-analysis we were just going over, they're slightly outdated, right? But prevalence of, where are we here, for anxiety? Yeah, about 50% of adults with ADHD have co-occurring anxiety. Caused by, it says, there is no evidence of ADHD biologically causing anxiety, which the wording there kind of throws me off, but yeah, so that's what I found real quick. I decided they didn't do an employee of the month, and I was the first one. Fair enough. Yeah, employee of the month. Because if you use AI music, that means that they don't have to pay out royalties. So of course they fucking love you. Oh. Double checking temperature. Alright, 28 feels like 35. Still says tornado risk. Tornado risk! Alright, shall we move on to the coaching translation and what may actually help? You guys don't see it, but I always put, what I always put is what actually helps and then put may in asterisk. Because, you know, all of those self-help sites out there and shit, they always put, this is what actually helps. No, this is what may actually help. Alright. One, and bear in mind, everything I say here, take with a grain of salt, okay? Because not everyone's a monolith, right? Anxiety and ADHD, they're not a monolith. Everybody is different. Everybody experiences their own shit differently. I understand that. I respect that. I expect you all to respect that as well, right? I say that for the sake of saying that. I've met you guys. I know how you do. We all respect and love each other around here, and we'll be there for each other if help is ever required. Anyway, as I fucking digress. Stop assuming that your anxiety needs to look dramatic for it to count. I know that there are some people that I have spoken to, and they have mentioned that if they essentially don't make a shit-fit scene, then they're not going to get recognized. And yeah, I know you can copyright lyrics. I do on mine. The research backs up that the gap is real on average, even when it's sitting quietly next to the other stuff in a file or a caseload. Your severity does not need to contrast to be real. All right. As Angie was saying earlier about advocating for yourself, right? I think what they mean is when they say didn't directly cause anxiety, the genes directly cause the neurological chemical imbalance. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I think too, Ryan. I think it was the wording kind of fucked me up on it. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, it didn't biologically create it. Well, no, that's not how it works. Yeah, I think that's... you and I agree. But yeah, I know that you can copyright your lyrics 100%. I already said that. Anyway. Okay, so another thing you can do that may help is try to separate anxiety that is its own thing from anxiety that's downstream friction from ADHD. So like the forgotten deadline, or the replayed social media moment at 2 a.m. or you know, the flavor of anxiety that often responds really well to ADHD specific supports, external structuring, breaking down tasks, reducing this kind of friction before it builds up. General anxiety advice alone might not touch any of that particular time, if that makes sense. I don't know if that made sense or not. It occurred to me as I was saying it, is like you're kind of babbling off here. So let's just back up and try that again. try and separate the anxiety that is its own thing from the anxiety that is kind of like, when I say downstream friction, I'm talking about, you know, the things that you are mulling back over. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Yes, those as well. Right. So again, like that, you know, the conversation you had earlier in the day that you're mulling over and over and over again, right? That's ADHD friction versus something that its own thing would be more like, you know, worrying about an exam you have coming up the next day, stuff like that. Try and separate those two things. And yeah, the stuff that responds really well to the ADHD specific supports would be external structure, breaking down tasks, right? So if you're worrying about, shit, I have my parents coming over this weekend, I need to clean the kitchen, right? So like we always say, break it down into smaller chunks. Worst to worst, check out Goblin Tools, right? Stuff like that. Try and separate those two things. If a provider brushes off your anxiety as an expected, unremarkable feature of having ADHD, that's a completely legitimate moment to ask for a second look, calmly, using the questions or that kind of thing that I pointed out before. Give yourself a break because you have a condition. You don't need to beat yourself up for having it. Yes, you don't need to beat your ass for being anxious, for having ADHD and worrying about stuff, right? We need to remember to be gentle with ourselves. And I know it is so much easier for each of us to say it to somebody else and not to ourselves, right? The same as, Angie, I'm going to pick on you again because you're the one who pointed it out, about advocating for your kid versus advocating for yourself. It is a hell of a lot easier to go to bat and be prepared to go to war for your child than it is to do so for yourself. We need to remember to be gentle with ourselves, to be kind to ourselves, and to allow ourselves to acknowledge that, yes, this is a thing that needs to be addressed. So, I don't know if that helped, or if that answered your question. Try to brush it off. Okay, so if you are someone who looks confident, impulsive, thrill-seeking on the outside, know that this research backs up that you can be carrying genuinely high anxiety on the inside at the exact same time. Those two things are not contradictory. They can be true in the same person, the same day, the same conversation, at the same time, etc., etc., right? ADHD associated with... Let's try that again. In response to Jay saying that he was an outlier. ADHD diagnosis is associated with twofold increase in MDD risk after age 25. It's a cohort study. Another study that found a causal effect, not correlation, causation, of course. There's genetic liability, and it shows that those who have ADHD have worse outcomes with MDD than those without. But that's also issues associated with ADHD that become stressors, exacerbate depression, as well as, so not an outlier, documented study. Angie, would you mind sending me that? I would love to look over that. Please and thank you. Only because it did not pull it up in mine. But mind you, I was also, in fairness, I was using Gemini to do a quick search. However, I gave Gemini very specific parameters, so it had to think harder and actually look for the peer-reviewed sources. That said, it didn't pull that up. So anyway, long story short, send that to me, please. I'd love to see it. I think we're also uniquely tribal. Our genes were better expressed and supported in a tribal unit, in part because it's harder to be nice to yourself and others. But hearing it from others also helps sink in because, you know, how can all those nice people be wrong? I love the way that you worded that. How can all those nice people be wrong? They're all so nice. But agreed, actually, completely off topic. Why? Because that's the motto around here. You know how they say it takes a village, right? It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise an idiot. Whatever. I can't remember what it was on YouTube, and I don't remember how I got here, but it was something to do with the idea of like actual, tribal, Aboriginal communities and whatnot. How? Oh, I remember what it was. It was on God, it was on couplings. Is what it was. And again, don't ask me how I got there because I just kind of got there. But it was talking about how like there were no marriages back then, right? There were no true coupling. Like they weren't, they didn't mate for life, that kind of thing, right? But it wasn't weird to them. It was like this woman had fucking 7 different kids from 7 different daddies, kind of thing, and it was like the entire community was raising all of the kids from all of the parents, and it was just a thing. That was just what they did. It wasn't weird to them at all, right? Joe would fucking jump on Eileen and boom boom and pump out a kid, and then off to Susan he went, and rinse repeat, right? Nobody thought anything odd of it because that was just like the way it was, which I thought was very strange but interesting all at the same time. But yeah, it was, I think I was actually looking up it takes a village to raise a child. I think that's actually what it was. I digress, it doesn't matter. But yeah, kind of touching on what you were saying there, like once upon a time back in our tribal days, the fact that it would literally take an entire village, or not that it would take, that's putting a different spin on, the fact that the entire community would take part in raising all of the children, and it was just whatever, it was just what they did, right? I think that's kind of, I'm not really sure I had a point there. It just kind of, became a thought to me. I'm sure I did have a fucking point, but I lost it like 15 clicks ago, so I don't know what the hell. I think the trunk got left open. It just kind of bounced out. Jay was back there trying to rope onto it and then just said, fuck it. Drank the mushroom ale during the Moon Festival, looked up at Susie, looked right in the moonlight, and that's how we got her child Moonbeam, kind of literally. I mean, pretty much. The entire entity was invested in the kid and how they turned out. Yes, right, because as a part of the community, the better the kid turned out, the better the survival of the community. So yeah, it makes total sense if you look at it through that lens, right? But of course, we don't have that lens anymore because this is we're a fucking completely isolated society, comparatively speaking. Sorry. Anyway, as I way digress there. Sorry, I just kind of noticed that I'm way off center here. All right. Okay, here's a question for you before we go on to some other stuff or some wrap-up stuff. If you do have one, what is one small structural thing? Sorry, I had a hard time spitting that word out. What is one small thing that actually helps you interrupt an anxiety spiral, if you have one? ADHD related or not. If you do have something that helps you interrupt an anxiety spiral, do you have it? If so, what is it? Versus some of us, which are parents. Shut up, mom's watching a program, go find something to do. Yep. Or go outside, don't come home until, until bedtime, essentially. Right? Especially, Jay, for our generation. It was, kids were to be seen, not heard. And if you were not in school, you were outside, more or less, right? And it was, you were gone, and don't come home until the street lights come on, right? And it's funny too because how much of a stereotype that is for Gen X, but it's fucking true. Yeah, you don't joke. That's the thing. Well, I mean, you do joke, but I mean, you're not kidding. It's true, right? For the vast majority of us, that was our life growing up, right? Mom's watching TV. Fuck off. Go find something to do. Right? Be seen, not heard. Loud music. That's a good one, Nadia. Pretty sure I went over that myself. Well, I was talking about concentration last time we talked about the music, but yes. For me, to help break out of anxiety. Now, that's a double-edged sword, I find, though. Because, and again, this is what we talked about when we covered music and the ADHD brain, was, and I think it was Jay that brought it up, if I remember right. I don't trust my brain anymore. But, that it's either, yeah, the music can calm you, or it can exacerbate the whole problem. Anxiety spirals, I'll try to remove myself from the situation if I can, so will I, until I can sort my shit out and then try again. Yeah, if I start to get anxious in a situation of people, I will absolutely remove myself from the situation. Sorry, Ryan, I'm an anthropology nerd. I speak English. You know what I was trying to say. I'm an anthropology nerd, and yes, village family unit was a thing for hundreds of thousands of years. That's right. I check in with certain people that I know I can trust just to hear me out, at least, or who snap me out of it by straightening me out, distracting me, or dive into music or a game like Minecraft. There you go. There we go. It has to be certain music for it to help. Sorry, I'm not... It just occurred to me that might have seemed like I was going to debate you on it. I was not. Certain music for you, that's valid. I was just thinking for myself. Yeah, I agree. I think it depends on the situation. If I'm riled up, if I want to try and calm it down, the last thing I'm going to do is dive into active corrosion, you know. Soothing and repetitive tones for gameplay. Yep. That works very well. That works super well. Deep breaths. Take a minute to acknowledge what I'm spiraling about, either with others or just myself, provided I have one, because I have some anxiety over nothing, which again is a thing. And then taking a step back to what we were saying before about if you are able to separate the kind of anxiety that you're having, right? If you're, in your case, you're worried about, say, you know, missing the bus to fuck off to Baston versus, you know, versus anxiety over, you know, a fight that you got into at work with somebody that day, right? Those are two different kinds of anxiety. So knowing how to separate those can absolutely help. Oh yes, thank you. That is right. I actually completely forgot about that until that. Yeah, brand new Active Corrosion comes out next weekend. The fourth album of my mental health project. It's called Capacity. You see, it's been my go-to recently. It's my go-to a lot too. I hate to admit it. Actually, no, I don't hate to admit it because I wrote the music for me. So no, I'm actually kind of proud of the fact that it's a go-to for me. Auntie, if you're still kicking around. Music does shift from my anxiety because it's busy calming the depression and the TMNT feelings. Sorry, Jay, that really just fucking threw me right off the ledge. You feel like a Ninja Turtle, do you? Anyway, Minecraft works doubly because finding Minecraft music unusually soothing. That's fair. I could never really get into Minecraft. The Michelangelo feelings? Gotcha. It's hyper-focusing on something else. I heard my name and album. No, I was talking about how the next Active Corrosion album comes out on the 24th. Since we were talking about that kind of music and such. TMNT feelings. Got it. Connection made. Connection made. All right. Let me do let me do the 3 things that I want you guys to take out of today's stream, if anything, is 1, the reminder that the anxiety gap between ADHD adults and everyone else is real. It is from a medium to holy shit large on average. It's not a coincidence. It is not an exaggeration. Okay. 2, how visible that gap is depends heavily on who you are being compared to in the room, which means a dismissive assessment doesn't necessarily mean that your anxiety is not real. Okay, remember that, like I said, if you're being assessed or looked at or treated in a general practitioner environment versus in a mental health specialist capacity, right? The GP situation, your odds are you're going to be flagged quicker or more easily versus in a mental health specialist, because yours might just kind of blend into the background with everybody else, right? Doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means that the environment kind of is playing against you there. 3 is that there is not one clean cause. There are several overlapping theories, and that's genuinely fine. Okay, you don't need a single tidy explanation for your brain to deserve support. As always, if you guys want the deeper written version, full citations and all of that shit, I did do a Scholar article on this today. So exclamation Scholar if you want to check out the full article. Or if you want the sources that I pulled all of this from, let me know. DM me. I will send them to you. Unless you are on YouTube or Facebook, in which case they are right there in the description for you. But if you're just watching on Twitch and you want all of the materials that I pulled this from, DM me and I'll send them all to you. Because that's how we fucking do around here. Were there any questions that we had about today's little commentary? Any, thanks, Jay. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything anybody wants to add? Maybe about Ninja Turtles. It made me want to eat pizza and crush on April O'Neil. Fuck yeah. There's anything to compare. I have my darker side, trust me. Different strokes, certain folks. Yeah, well, and remember, we never treat it like an Olympic sport around here. I'm not saying that to shit on anybody. I'm saying that in general. Don't misinterpret me. I realize that my tone can be misconstrued. It happens. Appointment where I can grand connect with a bunch of DJs I know. You know what? DM me and I will get you a copy of it a couple days in advance. That's fair. That would probably dampen my ability to play the game too. Not that I ever really played the game, but understanding what you're saying. Need to reread the Batman TMNT crossover. That was a funny little dot connection there. Actually, I got one for that too. So when I was younger, I'm sure some of you have heard this before. I used to play like Rifts and Heroes Unlimited, those kind of tabletop games. But I never really got too much into D&D. But I was very heavy into like the Palladium system. Like Palladium came up with their own version of Dungeons and Dragons, right? It was just like the Palladium fantasy, whatever. But they had their own different structure of like character stats and alignments and stuff like that. They were the ones that, and I still believe this to this day, is that there can be no true neutral. You cannot be a true neutral. Because if you were a true neutral, you would never be able to make a decision ever, right? Because your decision will not be swayed one way or the other. You'd be right in the middle. So, the way that they did their alignments were they had 2 good, 2 selfish, and 3 on the more evil side, right? And I always thought that was interesting because instead of being neutral, yeah, being selfish makes sense. You're not evil. chaotically minorly evil. Sure. If you're going by the D&D stuff, then yeah. But yeah, I always thought it was interesting, right, that you've got good, you've got evil, and then in the middle, you don't have your neutral, but you have selfish, right? So somebody is more looking out for themselves. I always thought that was really cool, really interesting. I thought it made sense to me, right? It made sense. Because I agreed, if you were a true neutral, you'd be stagnant. You'd never do anything, right? You'd never be able to do anything because it would change your alignment. But yeah, one of the games they actually got the rights to, the Ninja Turtles. So they actually have a TMNT role-playing game book, and you could create a character of any animal, right? And they've got all of the stats for all of the different animals, right? So the amount of characters that I made in that fucking game, right? And they've got everything from like birds to squirrels to elephants to giraffes to lions to you fucking name it. It is crazy. I wonder if I still have a hard copy of the book here. If not, I've got the PDF for it. And yeah, it's hilarious. So neutral could go either way depending on the mood of the minute. I mean, again, yeah, true. But if you tend to keep leaning, is it Michelangelo that's the last Ronin? Because I thought they never actually identified who it was, or that it was Raph. I don't know. Apart from the comics and arcade games, TMNT movies, and the OG live action, yes, those were by far the best ones, hands down, no question. Well, the first one and the second one, the third one was kind of sloth because they weren't allowed to pull their weapons, which was fucking dumb. But was it Mikey as the last Ronin? Because I never thought they identified who it was. So I like the part where I said, hey, do we have any questions? And then we fucking right out the window. Baddest character arc if it was Mikey. It really would be, right? Because Mikey would be the last one that you would think would go that way, right? Raph, I could see it. Raph's easy to see. Leo's kind of easy to see as well. Mikey's no shit. I did not know that. Well, spoiler alert me. I give a fuck. Talk about gamer guilt for playing and not paying attention. I mean, is that really your fault? No. From the most recent? I don't know. Depth of Lost turning Mikey. Yeah, I agree. Right, because Mikey was the most comical, the most comedic, the most playful. So yeah, him being the one that goes in that direction, indeed. Very, very much so. Everybody. I guess I should take this time to do a little of that shameless self-promo bullshit. I'm so lost. We're talking about Ninja Turtles, and it's your fault. But I should do that shameless bullshit. Again, if you guys want to check out the full article, exclamation Substack, you can check it out there. I'm still trying to decide whether I'm just going to make them all completely free, but then I don't know what to do about the whole, like, subscription thing for that. It makes no sense to me. I'm trying to justify one against the other, but minor detail. Also, hey, it's my new book. Look at that. Or a short story, I guess, but I mean, like, it's still a fucking book, so hey, check that out. Standard Procedure. Yeah, it's a short story. I kind of dig it. I thought it was fun. That's why I wrote the damn thing. So yeah, that's out. Also, we already said Active Corrosion, the next album is going to be out on the 24th. The Dark Side, Revenge Part 2, I am aiming for the end of August. no promises, but that's what I'm aiming for. Oh yeah, thanks Jay, that's right. Yeah, I think my phone bill, I think my phone's been cut off, but I'm not sure. So if you can, if you're feeling like a hero, great. If you're not, I still love you. It's awesome. True neutral is entirely possible. MCU Thanos, kinda. No, I don't think so. I think that would lean more to honorable evil. In my mind. I can't say that as being a true neutral. But the snap itself. The goal itself may be truly neutral. The way he goes about shit does not feel truly neutral. In my humblest of opinions. Thanks, Jay. That's right. The next Dark Side album, Revenge Part 2, I am aiming for, like I said, end of August. We shall see. I'm in the midst of working on them. There's a couple of other singles that are going to be released in the mix there. A bubble wrap, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jay, you just gave me a great idea. And I need to write that down before I forget. Wow, if I could spell it. Actually, why don't I just fucking do it right now? Since we're all sitting here talking about Ninja Turtles and shit. Let's just fucking do it right now, yeah? Helmet, Jasa. Oh, yes, Jasa, that's right. My kid is a streamer now. 4 more followers until she hits 50. We're all excited about that. So if you're not following my kid and you do want to check out my kid voice acting in Deltarune tomorrow. Yeah, she's going to be playing Deltarune tomorrow. So if you want to check out my kid voice acting, none of his stuff was neutral. The decision to snap was entirely ego-based. He thought he was right. The snap being random still doesn't make it neutral. Interesting. Especially with the powers of the gauntlet, there are so many ways he could have handled things, but he jumped to culling because deep down Thanos wanted to cull. Yeah, easy, IT. Yes, thank you. You motherfucker. There we go. I was about to say, you're not going to be a pain in my ass, are you? I like this discussion. Let's keep going. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on the snap? I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada. Click. And save. There we go. Sure, because he didn't exclude himself in the randomization. Didn't he, though? Really? I mean, do you think that... Is a freak with the Death King? I mean, honestly, do you think, though, that if... What are the odds that you think that if he snapped, he was going to be taken out? Right? Like, he, with him being the one who snaps, I don't think that he would have been considered as one of the ones who would have been taken out. As per his agreement with Doctor Strange, he had only excluded one person. He simply got lucky. Yeah. Extreme Ultimate Russian Roulette. Feige says he didn't exclude himself. I did not catch that anywhere. I did not know that, but I also did not consider that with him being the one with glove in hand would be put on the block. I mean, if Feige says it, it's law. We all know that. But that's not something I would have considered. I still don't think that makes him true neutral. I still think his measures make him, at best, honorable evil. You can't know without having an external confirmation. We don't know that. True, I didn't know that up until this moment, right? So I stand by my headcanon, which also consists of a lot of extra Mandalorian and clone trooper stuff. Because of course. So I'm just gonna very, very briefly touch on this. So I'm working on a new Amazon list because there's gonna be a point in the near future that I'm gonna have to, and yeah, so that's gonna be a thing in the near future. I don't know how near that future is, but it's probably closer than I'd like it to be. Anyway, yeah. Oh, Jay, I changed the bubble wrap thing. As devotion to certain psychotic, no matter how logical and fair his decision might be. I didn't say he was. Particular action. No, the particular, and like the snap itself, yeah, like I agreed with you when you first said that. The snap itself, 100% true neutral, because it picked at random, right? Again, I didn't know that he was... I'm hearing a fucking ice cream truck outside. Well, mind you, it is like 30-some degrees out, so I guess that makes sense. Sorry, hearing ice cream truck music in my headphones there threw me. Genocide to snap, half of all life game. Also, how can genocide, which the snap is, of half of life be neutral? Yeah, which is that's why I think the neutrality of the act itself, because it is completely random and like doesn't pick sides or anything, but the act going towards it, the act of being the one who their idea is just to get rid of half the life out there. Yeah, I'm sticking with what it because it is neither hate-filled. Because the reason is neither hate-filled nor truly altruistic. Tries to do the snap without being informed or gaining some sort of consent or release consensus. And a violation of good. Well, especially too, if you consider just on our planet alone, I had to be careful to word that. Defending genocide is not my bingo card for this lifetime. And I get it. I know that you're not. Trust me, I do know that you're not, Angie. I know that you're in good faith here. But I mean, also consider that on our planet alone, there is still a fuck ton of good, usable farmland where we can grow the food and the resources. It is out there. It is absolutely out there. It is just not being used because that's not where the populations are, right? If the populations were moved, or could move, or did move rather, to some of those areas, right? And some of them were better. I know that up here, a lot of it could be difficult because Canada has a lot of tundra land, right? And you cannot grow on tundra land because you're dealing with, you're dealing with soft shit, like sparse kind of piss poor dirt on top of frozen underground, right? So that's bait this in fiction, not so much in real life. Touche, right? But up here in Canada, we don't really have, like, we do have a lot of land that can be used, right? And if you look at the provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan especially, and Manitoba, right? There's a fuck ton, like the vast majority of the entirety of those provinces, the prairies as they're known, is all farmland, right? But if you try to go further north into Northwest Territories, some areas in Northern Ontario, mid to Northern Quebec, right? Because of the way that the Canadian Shield is, which is like the ground, it's like a rock formation, essentially. It's called the Canadian Shield. The way that it runs is kind of like, I'm just going off the top of my head here, but it kind of like runs into, you know, Ontario and Quebec and whatnot. The majority of it is tundra land, right? And that, trying to farm on that is, you know, good fucking luck. More farmland. Give it all Brondo. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. Yes. Absolutely. Companies paying farmers not to grow crops. It's also an issue in and of itself. Not one that I am very well versed in, Angie, to be honest with you. Plus, stones can create realities and bridge them, so want to find parallel universes where no life occurred and start a program populating those spaces. One of those spaces and bringing the resources here to sustain life. Or if you want to snap all the genocidal maniacs and certain abusers out of existence, I mean, absolutely put them on the fucking list. 100% put them on the list. I absolutely agree with that. But yeah, it's not like the land, the area was not there to create more resources, right? So I think Thanos was just like, yeah, you know what? Instead of trying to solve the problem, I'm just gonna kill half the fucking universe. 'Cause why not? Oh, 'cause you're a dick. That's why. I'd say I'm sorry, but yeah, not too soon, not at all. What year did that movie come out in? He was blinded by his trauma. Yep. Which, too busy thinking about himself. I.e., not neutral, but definitely selfish. Peanuts. Absolutely a narc. Well, narc tendencies, we'll go with that. Dark side coded, yeah. 07? I thought it was around that area, 05, something like that. Alright, who would have thought 20 fucking years later? How much can you keep your own intentions out of a cosmic wish? I mean, yeah, I'm thinking... Yeah, something like that'd be hard, right? 06 DVD. I mean, yeah, in that range. My initial thought was 05, so I mean... got lost someone to terraform planet in mere moments. Not like you couldn't have created more resources. Exactly. Or terraform more planets, right? You think about the number of planets that are out there in this galaxy alone, which is an average of 1 per star. So you're looking at between 100 and 400 billion planets. There's fucking ample room out there. You could have solved it in many other different ways. But yeah, Chaos is right. How many of us would be able to keep our own selfish intentions out of a cosmic wish instead of just get rid of half the universe and give me a pony? Yeah, no, I know what you were saying. But right, like, kill half the population and I want a pony and a brand new Mustang. And that list goes on and on. Anyway, all right, we're getting to that time here, so I think it is time to bounce on out of here. So we're gonna do that. Why don't we go and who are we gonna pick on today? I can go pick on Danny. Why not? Why not? No? Oh, I'm sorry. No. Apparently not. Apparently we're not allowed to leave because Jay has spoken. I got just over an hour left. Oh, Dan's gonna be playing for more than an hour. I'm not leaving you now. Not. I mean, yes, but no. We're doing a gentle handoff, or something of that effect. Yeah, something like that. Apparently, I don't know what buttons are here. But why did that not work? Oh, hang on.
Hello, and thank you for calling ADHD Incorporated. All our operators are currently busy. Your call is very important to us. Please hold the line, and the first available representative will be happy to help you.
There. Better? Yeah, I want my nuts back too, but that includes a divorce. Ah. Anyway. I think I have about the MCU Infinity Stones, yada yada yada, as in the comic. No one could wield them, you didn't need to be cosmic. And is that anyone could wield them, you didn't need to be cosmically powerful. By comic rules, Tony didn't have to die. It's not the same when I know it's coming. I mean, in fairness, I would not have known, but I'll give it to you anyway. But you're right, I agree with you. Anywho, I do have to feed my kid, unfortunately, so there is that. And by unfortunately, I mean that's part of, you know, the whole parent thing. So, y'all know how it is. Y'all know how it is. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for hanging out and hopefully maybe learning some shit. If you got any other questions that you don't want to ask here in the chat, you want to ask me afterwards, or if you want all the resources, etc., etc., remember they're in the description on Facebook and YouTube. If you're just hanging on Twitch today, then ask me about them and I will send them to you. Other than that, I will catch you, my loves, in the Discord. I'll be back here hopefully on Sunday. Body willing, as always. And until then, drink your water, take your meds, be kind to yourself. And yeah, I'll drop the credits and then we'll go on a run and hang out and pick on Danny. Sound good? All right. Love you. Bye.
Look at us,